starting your journey to financial freedom. Now. You're listening to the New Investor Podcast.
This is the Young Investor for the New Investor Podcast and the Week-End Debrief. It is day 99, believe it or not, on our journey towards financial freedom. I'd like to start with some statistics for the past week, which saw my portfolio value grow by 1.23% without making a single move. And if I had to look at how everything evolved since June the 1st or 1 month ago, my investments grew by 18%. And I have not done any significant moves. I only injected my savings into my capital for investment and let the market do its job. The significant moves that I made to get there was in ensuring that there was no deviation whatsoever to reach my target in terms of savings that I could invest. So you would have achieved the same or similar results regardless of the amount you would have invested into the future this way. So this it has been now 100 days this weekend that I started talking to you. Let's have a look at the growth then since the last 100 days by making only a few moves, by staying the course on my savings, by staying disciplined, and by not selling any of my holdings. My investments grew since by 51%. I am 51% wealthier than I was when I first turned on the mic with my first thoughts. This is fact, this is data. It is the easiest way I have ever found to make money since the beginning of my history, and I invite you to follow me in the next 100 days. I can assure you we can grow our net worth together positively. Allow me to apologize for any of the background noises. It's very windy where I am now in Asia. I don't know what happened this morning. It seems that we're being rocked pretty solidly back here at home. So to get back to the plan and the podcast, so sacrifice, save and invest. Let the market do the job. Stay invested. Do not sell your wonderful companies. Stay composed at times of turmoil and you will be fine. I have had young and new investors asking me how they could invest in Bitcoin or crypto. I always answer that I certainly do not look at this, even if it had the potential to change the world. I believe that you have those intentions now and asking me those questions right now because you're seeing that Bitcoin broke the $13,000 barrier from a $6,500 low in the recent months. So you're hearing that the bull has taken charge of Bitcoin, that it will reach $23,000 in the short term gains mindset. Getting there quick is actually the quickest way to lose. I was curious, so I listened to an analyst on Finance Network this morning. His astute analysis is basically saying he identified a bullish trend by looking at his graph, that he was right, that Bitcoin surged accordingly to $13,000, that it may reach $23,000, but that it might also drop back to $6,500. So, by being very clear as he is right now, he is saying that Bitcoin can surge 50% or drop by 50%. So you would have invested $13,000 as a young or new investor. I wonder how you would actually get a hold of this kind of money: credit card debt, split with friends, loans. Even if it is through your hard-earned savings, you're actually risking 50% of it in the hope of getting rich quick. Richer by a few $1,000s. Basically, you would buy one Bitcoin. I'm not exactly sure how this would go about, but how much do you really know about cryptocurrencies anyway? So I would never borrow money to invest. Another key component of investing is ensuring you keep your costs down. For example, I do all my investments myself. Every stock or any lot of stocks I purchase, I pay on average $3.99 for them, regardless of the amount of stocks I buy in a single shot, so which I factor into the stock price as well. Now, if I had to factor in a loan and a broker, I would never end up making making any money at all. So free yourself from any such burden, invest what you have on hand, and work harder towards reducing your expenses if you need. So we're looking at increasing your capital for investment. So it's that simple. Just decrease your expenses, free up some capital, use it to invest. Keep your costs down, do it yourself. Don't go through a broker that will charge you a lot of money to work for you and is not even making the investments probably you would not want to do, and be free. That's what I'm saying. So I went quite extreme in the sacrifice department myself to free up enough to create wealth quicker. So I expatriated myself in hardship locations around the world to decrease my expenses and have a high salary base. I climbed the corporate ladder, got promoted multiple times, and reached my targets to unlock bonuses, to increase my income and be able to increase my investments. Regardless of all, what I just said, I kept my expenses down. An increase in salary and position does not mean you have now to spend more or live a grand life. On the contrary, keep the same expenses structure as if you were a clerk. We are working towards our freedom. I do not wish to stay running on that wheel forever, but long enough and hard enough so I can turn cream into butter. Next week will be about injecting more savings into my capital, as it is the end of the month and we're getting paid next week, so pay yourself first. It is also my lovely wife's birthday as well, so I will be investing much less next month to celebrate her, as she is everything to me. Guys, have a splendid weekend ahead. Thank you for listening to the podcast, and I really hope that it brings you some additional support on your own journey towards financial freedom. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to never miss an episode, and looking forward to your DM and follow on Instagram at New Investor Podcast. In the meantime, stay invested, be patient, and keep playing the long-term game.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.